Okay, I am live. I'll start it over again. Hello, how is it going? Welcome to Movie Crap Live on this fine Thursday. Oh, shut the fuck up. Thursday night, as we usually do, to talk about entertainment and a lot of animation news, but entertainment and animation are the same shit. Man, I always get this Utz ad. I never get it. 3 in a row. Come on. I want to see my shit, dude. What the fuck, YouTube? Jesus. Sorry. Anyway. Alright. Sorry I got mad. Hello to everyone. Hello to Cornbread. Sinram. Hold on. Sorry, I was sending the thing. Purple Goop. Nathaniel. What the hell? Pebbles? Oh, come on, man. Hold on, everyone. Hold on. I'm not starting great. Hold on. All right. Hold on. I gotta read. Okay, I guess this is. Jeez. Yeesh. Okay, alright. Hello to Trash Boat, Craft Gaming, K-Master, Purple Goose, Nathaniel Foga, Pebbles. Good one. Hello, Ryan Walter said. Austin, Cornbread. I'm a little. Major Mechazow, I saw was here earlier. Phony Cone, thank you for. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for being there. Probably. That would be cool, Sidram. I like that idea. And yes, I think I said everyone. I'm not sure. Let's just start this. Did I send out both the things? I believe I did. So I'm gonna back away now. Alright. I hope so. I don't know why Pebbles decided to do that. Sorry, it threw me. Hello, how is it going? We are here. I do not have the. Let me move this over a little. The lights do not work anymore, but they are cheap lights. I think I can acquire new ones by next week. But this week we're going to have the lovely Godzilla lamp as a replacement for the other lights. So that'll be that. We'll show it off when I do reminder thingy or whatever. Hello, Javier Partello. Yes, thank you for being here. I understand it is the Colbert last show night. Thank you all for doing that instead of or watching part of this or whatever you're doing. But I'll talk about a few things I've been watching. I have been watching with my wife Pop Culture Jeopardy, which is a show we quite like watching. It's really nice. The Hello Christian Gutierrez and Jortunes. Sorry I got upset. There's so much to do to get ready, and then sorry. Not that Pebbles knew it was. Well, it kept her away. I freaked her out. Sorry. Anyway, yes, we were watching Pop Culture Jeopardy. I like Colin Jost a lot as the host. It's a lot of fun. It's on Netflix now, which is weird. Because it was on Amazon before, but now it's on Netflix. I do like it. There was one hilarious part where like this, you do like when you're Final Jeopardy and you subtract stuff and this one couple subtracted, so it'd say like 69. And they pointed out like this is so funny, and even the show like barely cut to them just for continuity's sake. I was like, man, that is fucking embarrassing. The like even the show was like, this is just not funny. It's just it wasn't like funny like, oh, you disrupted something. I think they thought they did. They did not. It was embarrassing. Oh my god, Bloxy, hold on. I just realized I left my energy drink in the fridge. Hold on. And I was like, hold on. Okay. Hopefully this is. Wait, is this? It says it's energy. Better be. Okay. Bloxy, it's like Paul Blart really needs an anime. I agree. Liking to that. Hello, everyone. Wow. I was like going over the script. I had like a little time and I forgot it. All right. This is a Yeasley energy drink. It is tropical. Hold on, let me have my thing here. I have a lot of windows blocking what I need to see. This thing, I just saw it and I was like, let's try it out. Tropical Punch has electrolytes. It's okay. It's okay. Um, but yes, hi Dan, how's it going? Dan helped me put it the Godzilla story is all because Dan, because I hadn't heard that anywhere. So good job, Dan. Um, hey Zodberg, man, the people are showing up. All right. But yes, pop culture Jeopardy. No, Paul Blart. Sorry, Paul Blart really needs an anime. Bloxy, you're right. Paul Blart should have an anime. That would be a good. I think that would work in the anime format. Personally, I think it would. Um, but yeah, check out Pop Culture Jeopardy. It's really cool. You're not seeing? Well, okay. Um, what was I gonna say? All right. Oh, hey, not plausible. Um, so the other things I watch, I've been watching Dexter's Lab on Tubi, which is amazing to watch. I forgot Paul Rudish did the Mickey Mouse shorts came from there as well. Which I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It just the backgrounds are fucking amazing. The it's just all like such a well done show. But it's been fun watching it with my kids. I also watched Serial Mom, which is also on Tubi because I kept seeing it. And I was like, you know what? If you don't know, my deal with Serial Mom is it's shot in the neighborhood I grew up in. In particular, the scene where they drop the air conditioner on that guy. That like after we had dinner at night, we could go and watch them shoot that scene. They were shooting it for I think like I remember it being 2 nights. I don't know. They kept working on that scene, and I remember there's a scratch on the pavement that everyone says was from the car chase. When I watched the movie again, I was like, yeah, I think that I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty certain it is. I haven't been to that neighborhood in like forever, but I don't know, not my favorite John Waters, not even my favorite John Waters '90s, probably my least favorite '90s John Waters, but it does remind me of a certain time and like Hammerjacks is featured in that, which is a huge club in Baltimore, which didn't exist by the time I could go see shows, but I did like Matthew Lillard be like, "Come on, Dad, you got to be cool as Hammerjacks," like, which I definitely heard people say, but I never got to go. But he had L7 in it, and the only thing I noticed was like, man, every John Waters movie with Ricky Lake, where she's like a main cast member, she has like a boyfriend who's like really, really he's really into her. Like it's really cute. I was like, because she always looks like really happy. I don't know. It's like in Hairspray, it's the guy who's really has the hots for her, and then Crybaby, I guess she has a husband, father of her children, and then Serial Mom, the investigator. I'm like, I like that energy with Ricky Lake in the John Waters movies. I think that's cool. That like he always had someone who's really into Ricky Lake. I think that's cool. Anyway, I don't know. It's just a thing I noticed. And then the Maya album, which I talked about before, which I should actually say the name of. I didn't say it last week. I'm literally opening my Spotify. It's a really good funk inspired album. I listened to it. Retros- retrospect. It's really good. I'm really into it. I think it kind of peers out towards the very end, but I think you have a good like 45 minutes of solid shit. So yeah, hello Zodberg, Javier Partello, William Ellman. How is it going? And finally, sorry, I just talked about stuff I want to just mention real quick. Obviously, it's Colbert's last show. I don't love the CBS late shows as much as I like both him and Letterman. I have the same criticism where I like the shows they did before they came to CBS. That being, I guess, the Late Show with David Letterman on NBC and the Colbert Report. I think are genius. I don't love the CBS show as much, but I do. I watched a lot of I probably watched more Letterman than I've ever watched of Colbert. But I don't like that he got canceled. I think that is bullshit. I don't like the show, but I do. I do like him, and I don't think he should be canceled. To be clear, I'm not. I don't agree that he was canceled, but I think he had better work before. I hope whatever he does after it is more Colbert Report. But Letterman didn't go back to being the Letterman of the NBC days. So I don't know. We'll see. But I like them. Letterman NBC show is just fucking great. As um William Muhammad sent me some stuff from that, and yeah, it's like really really good that era. So But I do still. I wish he could have brought more of the Colbert Report stuff. I know he was purposely going to a different thing. I think each time that's their decision, but whatever. But I'm sad that it's going. I'm really curious what's going to happen to the Ed Sullivan Theater. Um, but it just sucks. This is like a shitty country we live in. This is the Ellisons' fault. I know everyone's blaming CBS, but I'm like, it's the Ellisons and their management. They own CBS. It is their fault, 100%. Oh, Nathaniel Foggy, tell Tariq I say hi. If you're listening, is he listening? Does anyone know? I'm really curious about his setup at MomoCon. Watching a stream during a panel is wild to me. Um, take a picture of your setup if you can hear me, Nathaniel Foggy. I'm not sure if you can. Help. Austin needs help. Hello. Oh, Henswick called Trump wants to take Hegs with call Trump wants to take over Kimmel's show. I've heard this like Kimmel thing. Well, ABC's suing him. So first off, cheers to you, sir. Did that happen, or you're just saying this as a joke? But I don't know. I'm also curious, like how long Kimmel's gonna do this for. But and I am wondering. I am actually wondering. I was thinking this week. Which show? And I'll ask you in the chat. Which show do you think will be the last of the late night shows? Saturday Night Live sort of doesn't count, but I do think Saturday Night Live will make it out the decade. But I sort of am like, will Fallon or Kimmel or Seth Meyers? I think Seth Meyers is going to be the next to go, unfortunately, because that's the best one. But although I haven't watched it in a bit, so but I'm not a Nielsen household, so it doesn't matter. And I watch it over Antenna too, so I'm like really not helping him. I don't know, but it is a sad thing. I don't think that should happen, and it shouldn't be for that. But it is unfortunate. It was, despite what they're gonna tell you tonight, it was an expensive show. But that again does not justify him getting taken off. I think that's bullshit. But and now they're just gonna sell the Byron Allen late night thing. Hmm. Uh, I'll say Bill Maher. Ryan. Fallon will be the longest because he's so creepy. Wow, everybody's like, I like that all the Fallon stuff is like. I mean, he sucks, so probably he does have no morals. All right. As much as I love shit talking Jimmy Fallon, let's start the show proper here. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chat during the show, where if you give a super chat, I will drink some of this lovely energy drink, which will also give me more energy. It's been a long day. If we get to the $20, I will make this Godzilla flash on and off, which will be cool. If he could say a single thing, they're supposed to, anyway, is if we get $20, we'll have this cool Godzilla lamp flash and flash. And then if we get to $40, and let's see where we're at. I think we're at the far one, but I don't know. I forget. We'll do the Godzilla roar here. Yeah, farts definitely. Okay, so the next one will be a proper roar. But yeah, so that's what we do. If we get to those. But there's also the as and I very much thank you if you're able to do so. But there's also the Patreon, which has all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, and we're mailing those out soon. More powering the movie review vote, exclusive content like my commentary series. You want to see a long video on the party song commentary that is up there, as well as you get notified when new videos come out and all sorts of stuff like that. It very much helps me to continue to do what I do and make these videos and make the quality and all that stuff. So thank you very much, of course. If you are financially able to do so, if not, liking this video very much helps. Subscribing very much helps. And if you want notification, also it helps if you want to see all the videos. And if you want notifications on, I want to be notified when I do instant previews, everything like that, then do so. But if not, and you just watch occasionally or don't even have an account and watch, thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Any time you watch or anything like that is still a support, and I thank you for being here. It's really appreciated. Also, We have the Discord, which is one run very well by Austin St. Powers, Cornbread, and Ryan Walterson. They do a wonderful job. I don't think there's a movie watch this week. I'm not sure. Correct me if I am wrong. We do all sorts of cool stuff like the movie watches, the daily questions. I asked what you want me to talk about in movie crap. I posted something in the Novelty Playing Cards channel today. They're doing a movie watch next week. They do all sorts of cool stuff in there. It's a really wonderful community. If you like people talking in the chat right next to me during the show and you think, hey, these are cool people, well, guess what? You can hang out with those cool people and me and stuff. It's the Discord I'm most active in, and the Discord I'm very proud of. So if you would like to come over there and join that, then it would be cool if you'd like to do that. It's a cool community. All right. Um I already reviewed the original Transformers movie. So that you can check that review out if you would like to. I will be doing it in throwbacks when that really. I think it's scheduled to be a. I had when I wrote down all the movies, but Billy Zane. All right. Anyway, let's let's start this thing. Okay, so the Betty Boop movie. This sort of came out of nowhere, but I think it's actually one of the few times I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little curious about this. So it was announced that Quinta Brunson will be let me click on this so because it's been reported in a weird way where I didn't really like how they phrase stuff, and I noticed like anyway, Quinta Brunson will develop and star, which I believe she's writing and producing, if I'm reading this correctly, or but well, at least developing and star in a feature film adaptation of Betty Boop. Assuming she will play Betty Boop, some places just say she will star as. It seems star as. If the trade say star as, an agent called them to make sure they said that. It's actually a really cool concept. I'm surprised because I don't really like. I don't know if she's going to be live action or animated. That seems to be I'm not sure about. But it says the film will trace the origin and evolution of Betty Boop through the perspective of her creator Max Fleischer, examining the relationship between the artist and his creation as he navigates the creative and commercial pressures of building one of the world's first animated icons, which is very true, particularly as the icon begins to take on a life of its own. I again like the way this sounds to me is like she'd be voicing Betty Boop, because it's supposed to be Betty Boop and uh, Max Fleischer. The other question is who's playing Max Fleischer. I'm not sure how you would do like who would do that. Although the Fleischer brothers and their drama and their animation studio very much need a lot more attention. This is also being she dealing with the Fleischer brothers who mainly use Betty Boop to sell merchandise. I mean, for real. And her their I think their grandson. I'm curious. I mean, this is an interesting idea because I think she's definitely at a she has a successful show and all that, and I guess she wants to make the move to like a big IP movie. And this to me, not Ruben Fleischer, this to me screams of that, but like a really cool way to do it because no one's really doing as much with Betty Boop. And I think like one thing I almost have thought about doing a video on this or something, and I've talked to almost every time I hang out. Maybe not every time, but a lot of times I've hung out with an animation historian. We've talked about how many of these characters are owned by companies who do jack shit with them. So I'm actually glad, like it feels like Betty Boop's just. I don't know when the last time there was a Betty Boop thing made. Ryan can probably correct me on this. It's the grandson of Mark Fleischer, who's the grandson of Max Fleischer. It's also who's playing Dave Fleischer. That's the other question, and the kind of sibling rivalry. It would be a very cool thing to make a movie of. The other question is how do you get? You have to deal with Popeye. You have to deal with Superman. The rights of that I think would be. I'm assuming they have those if they're adapting this because you kind of can't tell the Fleischer brothers story without talking about also Popeye and Superman and probably Bimbo and like out of the inkwell. I don't think that's legally probably the hardest one to do, but or was it who was the clown? You know what I mean? But it sounds. I actually think this is a really cool idea. The stage musical. That's right, Ryan. But this is apparently not the stage musical. It's like a separate thing, although that was received well. My daughter and my wife saw it and they really liked it. Um, I'm I am really curious. This sounds like a cool like right now. This is all I have right now. I To me it's like if they draw and all the cartoons are even that sounds interesting to like do something that's about animation history and the Fleischer brothers. I will say, Cab Calloway, you're right. The Fleischer brothers, like a lot of people brought this up, had their fortunes gone in a different way, they could have been Disney instead of what Disney became. I mean, they had Mr. Bug Goes to Town and Gulliver's Travels, and Mr. Bug Goes to Town is pretty solid. Gulliver's Travels is my favorite, but if their features had worked out, or the super, they hadn't gone belly up, or the Fleischer brothers weren't total dicks to each other, or mainly Dave Fleischer, my understanding. I don't know. This is a cool idea. The idea of doing like sort of a biopic of the Fleischer brothers with Betty Boop, who is sort of like their big star. I also would like Me TV Tunes right now. Their Fleischer brothers block is the Popeye block, not the Betty Boop block, and they play less Betty Boop, which I always think is weird because I see Betty Boop stuff everywhere. I figured she would be the bigger star. I don't know. Maybe let's make Betty Boop the unquestionable biggest Fleischer Brothers star instead of Popeye. Although I like Popeye, but um, I think this is a cool idea. I was generally like, at first I was like, what the fuck, and then like, no, I really don't like live action adaptations. So, but then when I read it, I was like, I'm into this. Okay, Coco the Clown. Sorry, everyone. Thank you, Christian Gutierrez and Austin, for correcting me. But yeah, it seems like a cool idea. I hope it actually happens. I hope it's not just like a development deal paycheck kind of deal. I don't think it is, because this is a big thing. I quite like Abbott Elementary. I was actually thinking of starting at the beginning because I like kind of got lost in the sauce of where I am with it. Um, but I am curious how they will utilize the other Fleischer Brothers stuff. Who will play Dave and Max Fleischer? What is? Hold on, I'll do this right now. What is Max Fleischer? Hold on, let me write. What does this guy fucking look like? Robert Crumb on the cartoons of Max Fleischer. I'm not interested. This is what came up. I don't know who. He died in 1972. Huh. I mean, I want to say Paul Walter Hauser in a sense. I want to say that, but um, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he's like, I don't know how you'd probably have to get like a star kind of person. I don't think you could. Paul Walter Hauser's cool though. I would be down. He could really. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know his personality as much. So that would be. Yeah, this would be an interesting casting thing because you really have to nail it, and also, if Quinta's playing, just voicing Betty, but like writing it, producing it, and playing Betty Boop, who's playing. But she's really good at, if she gets the casting director to cast the Abbott Elementary. That's such a well cast show. I have no doubt about it because she has like legends as well as like people who are new to the scene, and like I think if she can do that, I think this could work. But right now I'm like, I hope this Simon Cowell was supposed to do Betty Boop. The thing with Betty Boop though is I think she goes into the same thing, and I think Mickey Mouse is the same thing. There are a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be an elitist, but I believe there are a lot of people who like these characters who've never seen a cartoon of them. They just know the design and the T-shirt, and they're honestly just more of like a mascot. They're not really a cartoon character. So I do maybe everyone who wears Betty Boop stuff loves Betty Boop. I get the vibe that like there's a lot of people wear those like drawn, sketchy Mickey Mouse shirts where I'm like, I feel like you maybe have not seen that many Mickey Mouse cartoons. I don't know. I'm not gonna go up to you and say name three shorts or something, but I get the vibe. I mean, if I'm wrong and I'm being a jerk, but I just get that vibe from it. But I mean, maybe that's who the character is at this point, and me acting like you should know how I define the character should not be how you define it. Like asking other people to define it the same way I do is maybe ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. This is this is where my own works. All right. let's talk about the amazing Digital Circus finale, which I didn't think I'd be talking about, but it leaked, or parts of it leaked, or the Brazilian dub supposedly leaked. And apparently it's just been all over social media. I actually haven't seen it, or if I have, I don't know because I'm not all caught up on that. I've debated if I should catch up or not. It seems to be, I think people want me to, but I'm not sure if y'all want. I don't know. I would like to give it another chance. Maybe we'll see. But I with um this is two. I have two kind of different opinions on this, and the nicer one is if you were into this thing and you were excited to see it in theaters, and even if you get spoiled it for you, as someone who's wearing this Mystery Science Theater shirt, if you're really into a fandom, going to sort of an event for your fandom, which like when I've seen Mystery Science Theater at live shows or in the theater, it's a really great experience. Even if it gets spoiled for you, fucking do it. Like it's really wonderful. If this is like a thing you think about all the time and watch every episode, I'm like, just go. I understand the importance of how this is for indie animation, but as well as yeah, I just like just for you, if you're a fan, just go. Don't, even if the leaks spoil it, don't go. I'm not gonna go, and I'm not saying this for so they can have a big box office. I just know as a fan how much like those events mean to you and will be a thing you'll remember. So just like do this regardless. This is for y'all. But how this was leaked is these animation leaks um are kind of ruining any headway. It's particularly this one. This was like a big deal. This is like a big moment for indie animation. I don't know if I really feel like Glitch is that indie since like when I watch a pilot, they already have a merchandise line ready to go, but that's a debate for a different thing. However, I do think this is a big deal for indie animation. This shows the studio's indie animation can blow up. And if someone were to leak that and fucking ruin it, that's not good for anybody. That hurts a lot of different creators who can use that headline to make more money or get more funding or get into theaters and show the suit something. And if like this doesn't go well, it's you're fucking blamed about it. I mean, it seems like the creator isn't really worried that much, and I sort of agree because I think people are like pre-sold on going to this and they're already going to make a lot of money, and I don't actually know how much they're making. I haven't looked it up, but I get the vibe it's more than $2 at least. And but this I was kind of upset to see this because it was like this is going to be the big moment. It's like I do think like the first two the weekend of that's true, Cornbread. You are correct. Independent just means financially independent. We just made independent mean something else, but at a certain point if you're an independent studio and you're super big, at what point are you not that anymore? You know what I mean? It's like was Lucasfilm was technically an independent studio, but would you? I don't really view them that way because they're making billions of dollars. So how regardless, I do think this like majorly hurts. Much like the Avatar thing. The Avatar thing was kind of like decided and ruined by Paramount. This was ruined by whoever leaked that thing, and this was a reason they one I don't know, it's just it's very upsetting, the whole thing with the Digital Circus leak, because it really could have been a major thing. But oh, sorry, what I was saying is next weekend Backrooms comes out, and there's a lot of industry expectations of Backrooms. The weekend after, I believe, is Digital Circus. Those two will solidify to Hollywood, and I'm very serious about this, if they're huge hits, particularly what Gen Z wants from the movie theaters. If I think a lot of young people are going to see both of those. But like if we screw this up, they're going to be like, oh, I mean, why should we appeal to them? I think Backrooms will do well enough that they'll ignore this. But this is particularly like with indie animation. There might be a studio's like, well, you won't sign with us, but I'll give you a distribution deal because Digital Circus. I mean, look at that. And I find that to be really discouraging because discouraging. But I don't know. It's upsetting because there'll probably be something more interesting that will now not get a deal because of this if they fuck it up. Now maybe I'm wrong and they'll make like 70 million, and everyone will be like, oh shit, Digital Circus, blah blah blah. But if it gets fumbled up, we know who to blame. Unfortunately, but I do think June 5th is amazing. Digital Circus, Scary Movie, and Masters of the Universe. That's like discouraging. Sorry, that's that's too many things. Somebody really should have moved. Probably Masters of the Universe. It's gonna be it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the fact that people keep ruining two major animation releases that were appealing to different demos that were not the kid demos, like, can we please, like, you don't really like this shit. You clearly just, it's, to me, it's like someone going, first in the comments. It's funny when you just say first in the comments of a video or something, but it's not funny when you do shit like this to just see, like, see, I got it. Look at me. I'm exclusive. But like, I don't really understand. I don't really get it. I think it's really out. Unfortunate. Yeah, I think Digital Circus might win that weekend. I get the vibe. Scary Movie, was it 5? Is gonna do 6, whatever. I think it'll do well, but I get the opinion that, like, might be a little too cringy for itself. So we'll see. Also, like, will Digital Circus? I mean, in the summer, I think it might work for it if it, a lot of these releases. Is it a Fathom thing or something? It'll probably fall off. But I mean, I'm gonna be seeing Masters. I'm gonna talk about Masters of the Universe on Blood Tea. Don't worry. Um, we'll see. Oh, 6. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Digital Circus thing. Anyway, it really really unfortunate. Really sad that it happened this way. Um, I think it sucks that this, like, keeps fucking happening. Supposedly they were a little concerned that this could happen, so maybe they were expecting it. But maybe they're like, well, we're too big to fail. If they feel that way, I love their confidence, but I do think it, like, this is gonna be a big moment, and if anyone to screw up, like, one of the biggest indie animation moments, because again, this is one thing I was thinking about, and I really do mean this. What Don Bluth did in the '80s, and I know I made a video of this, when he took down Oliver and Company, it showed that other studios could exist other than Disney and beat them. And that is why we got DreamWorks. That is why we got a ton of failed animation studios in the '90s. That didn't work. But it showed that there was there was a bigger audience there that you could fight against that thing. And the fact that, like, someone could, Hollywood is a studio of hit, is a town of hits. It's basically a hit factory kind of thing. And if they show that, then they will show to other studios you can do different things and stuff like that. So it really does matter, particularly in the history of animation. You look at what Don Bluth did; it very much opened up that to other studios. They saw what happened with Land Before Time and American Tail and his stuff. Secret of Nim didn't do well, but I know Land Before Time and American Tail, and even all that didn't work. But those two, they did really show them, because almost every interview they were like, Amblimation wouldn't have happened without it. All these other studios wouldn't have happened. Maybe them going like, hey, maybe we can try Pixar, probably wouldn't have happened. Maybe I'm reaching there, but like, that was very significant, that box office weekend. And so Digital Circus could have that. And if someone messed that up, like, the ramifications could be pretty bad. I don't think people will, but anyway, I'm just saying, it how thing, when something's a hit, it really can change a lot of shit. So All Dogs did well on video. You're right. But it really can change stuff. So yeah, if Digital Circus beats both of those, Hollywood will be like, what the fuck? But if they don't, hey, whoever in Brazil did that can blame themselves. All right. This is a sadder one, but I wanted to talk about this early on. Voice actor Tom Kane passed away this past week. He was the voice of Professor Utonium on Powerpuff Girls. He was Darwin on The Wild Thornberrys. He was an Oscar announcer. I actually didn't know that. He was the announcer for the Eric Andre show. He has a huge list of credits. You've definitely heard him, if you, other than just Professor Utonium, whether you knew it or not. It's a very huge loss. A lot of Clone Wars stuff. He was the announcer on Clone Wars and Yoda. Very sad. We lost him this past week. RIP to him. But I think, Powerpuff Girls was like one of the big classic Cartoon Network shows, and probably one of the most significant anime shows in the 90s and 2000s. And it's very sad uh, that he's gone, and RIP to him. He really led a pretty amazing life and left an amazing body of work as well. So I wanted to say that right now. All right. Okay, to complete I'm actually getting through all the thumbnail early. I was trying to do a lot of the big stuff. So if you are so inclined to do the Colbert thing, I understand certain people leave. That's fine. You can, or you can come back later, however you want to do it. But we learned today that Tubi, which is actually Tubi and Scooby-Doo, this is actually the service my kid watches, Oscar watches Scooby-Doo on, which is Tubi, to the point that he can recite the Tubi music at the beginning, which I was like, I'm proud of that. Is Yokoso Scooby-Doo. Honestly, this feels like they're like, we've done so many different versions of Scooby-Doo. Why not an anime? Which is the kind of energy I like. I know Scooby-Doo has not gone to space yet in a whole show. There's not a show where he's just in space. Why not that? Like, we should just be checking off what has Scooby-Doo not done at this point. Like anime, uh, puppets, have him a silent cartoon, just like any imaginable Scooby Doo thing. I don't want a Riverdale. Don't do that. Anyway, this is the plot description. It says while visiting Japan on the ultimate foodie adventure, Scooby and Shaggy unwittingly unleash hundreds of mythical monsters that are causing trouble across the country with the help of Scooby's uncle Daisuke Do, along with new friends, a magical girl Yume and gadget whiz. This is Tamaki. The group embarks on an all new mystery filled with monster chasing fun chaos. And Matthew Lillard. Some of the text on this. Okay, sorry. Frank Welker and Matthew Lillard are attached. This sounds like a lot of fun. I think it's like a good, fun Scooby Doo thing. I think it'll open up. I think like I don't know. I didn't really watch film. I just stayed away from that. But I'll get to the Cartoon Network thing, Ryan. Don't worry. I do think this is a good place for it because Tubi is very known for Scooby Doo at this point, and also I think like experimentation and like fun random shit, and this feels like fun random shit. Uh, really, I didn't know. Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Um, it sounds like a lot of fun. I like that there's another Scooby Doo. What did we? Some like one called Oscar. Like one was it? Dumb Do or something. It's like a really stupid do. Anyway, I forget his name. Uh, I honestly wouldn't mind. Do as I think this is like why not? It sounds very 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, which I am. That's like I think when I was a kid, I didn't like regular Scooby Doo. I like 13 Ghosts and a pup named Scooby Doo, which is never streaming anywhere at all ever. And my kids don't actually like it, but I like. I like a pup named Scooby Doo. It's funny. Um, it sounds cool. I think it's a great home for Scooby Dum. You're right. Thank you, Ryan Wallace. Yeah, you love Scooby Dum. Wait, what? Why would it be called first name like Scooby? Your last name wouldn't it be Dum Do? It shouldn't be Scooby Dum because anyway, well, whatever. None of that. I'm analyzing dog lineage. Um, sorry. I'm like debating, like, well, he shouldn't be called that. Dumb Do would make far more sense. No, it sounds like a cool show. It sounds like a fun show that you would check out. Like you go, oh, Scooby Doo, why not? I think that's kind of where they should be. I wouldn't. I don't mind the different animation styles. Same what they did. Did they do that Seth MacFarlane one and stuff? I wouldn't mind if everyone is done in a different style, like Rubber Hose style. Um, uh, the Hanna Barbera if it was earlier and worse style. All sorts of stuff. Alan Oppenheimer, was that what happened to Oppenheimer's kid? I'd love that. It was anyway. Um, moving on. All right, I will do want, since I'm doing this early, just because I know maybe who will check. I don't know how many are leaving for um Colbert or anything. Scrappy You does follow it, but if you'd like to give a super chat, it's always appreciated. Thank you very much. Also, so I could have some energy and stuff. All right. Um, this Dan, thank you very much for this story because I hadn't heard this and I'm curious. So Godzilla minus, I guess it's minus one, the sequel to the other one. Supposedly they're saying there will be a big Hollywood actor in role. We just don't know who it is yet. Flim flam. Yeah, okay. Uh, wow. You hate that it's called the Family Guy one? Is it good, Ryan, though? Okay, anyway. Um the supposedly there is a Hollywood actor who will be in Godzilla minus, it's Godzilla minus one, right? Godzilla minus, yes. No, minus zero. The other one was minus one. Oh my god. That's confusing, I gotta say. So it's, well, I guess it's backwards numbering. Anyway, there's supposed to be a big Hollywood star in it. I actually read this as like a classic Hollywood star, and I just imagine Raymond Burr was going to be in the background, like, oh no, it's Godzilla. But I don't think they're going to CGI Raymond Burr. It sounds like they're actually going to put someone in there. I don't think. I mean, maybe it'll be Glenn Powell. I don't know who it would be. I'm just gonna start. I heard Tom Cruise say good things about it. I don't know if he would show up. I'm curious who it would be, and the fact that they're hiding it makes me think it's going to be somebody good. I don't know who I would really expect. Um, I do think okay, it is good. I've never watched it, so first off, Mandela Butterfly, thank you for the super chat. I love your little ones there. Cheers to you, man. Wait, they did Underwater Scooby Doo? Oh, thank you, Lucas Anderson. They did Underwater Scooby Doo. They did? That sounds like they did. Matthew Broderick. Ah. Cheers to you, Lucas Anderson. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know who exactly you would get to do. Oh, George Turns, the director's cut of the film title 54 is good, but I've heard the director's cut of 54 is good. I've never seen 54 in general, but I've heard good things about it, which is surprising when that came in. We'll talk about a director's cut later. Thank you very much, George. Cheers to you. Um, um, oh, Jabberjaw. I hope it's somebody good since we don't know. That's the rumor, at least. I'm trying to think who would be a. I mean, Chris Evans, because he would go with the. He's very good at doing period stuff. I mean, I guess it's like 40s, like post-war New York. So it's like who would fit into that? I guess is the real question. Um, we'll see, but I don't know. I think this will be a bigger movie, particularly with November sort of clearing out. So we'll see. Um, we'll see what's going on with that. But I'm really curious about that. Thank you, Dan, for telling me about that because I was like, that's interesting. I am curious how long the Godzilla spoilers out. What? I'm confused. Um, Brian Cranston again. Yeah, I don't know who else. Huh. Yeah, it'd be like hard if it was Cord. Oh, everyone's saying Matthew Broderick. I can't think of like who would be a good. Yeah, it would have to be. I do think like a Raymond Burr reference would be fine. He was apparently cooler about it, even though I do not love that cut and its implications. But moving on, this is surprising. Dan Stevens would be good. He was good in this. All right, sorry. Moving on. I was surprised that this was announced and would still be happening because I feel like it's. I don't know how popular Rick and Morty is, but now I'm very confused about that. But Rick and Morty, the movie, was announced as going to be directed by Jacob Hare. I just have Hare, so I'm going to assume that's correct. Uh, who is the supervising director on most Rick and Morty stuff presently? Sounds like it's going to be exactly like the show. I do still see people wearing Rick and Morty shirts. I've noticed that's coming back. It was like sort of gone. I didn't see it as much. I've seen a little more like cool Rick and Morty hoodies and stuff. It is not what it was in like pre-COVID, Rick and Morty was like the biggest cartoon in the world, and it is not that at all anymore. So I am surprised they waited. Like if this was announced in 2021 or 2020 or 2019, I'd get it. But now I'm like, I don't. I mean, okay. I mean, maybe it'll be good. I really have not watched Rick and Morty. I watched the first one with the new voices. I really haven't checked it out since. Um, but I am curious, like how what this will be, or if this is just a thing they develop that doesn't go anywhere. Particularly that it's like people from the show. Are they gonna like let them take a season off to do the movie? Like, there's a lot of questions I have about that. I just don't think. I don't know. I mean, I think Rick and Morty does fine. Uh, but it's just like it. There was definitely a fall off. Now maybe like it does so well in streaming and all that, they're like having a movie would totally work. But I just don't necessarily see it as much as I used to. I was surprised to see that news. To be honest, like I'm always surprised it's like still running. But I have seen around New York more hoodies and stuff like that with that. But we'll see. I mean, I think it will still do okay. It's just like had it come out. One was Justin Roiland canceled. I guess like that sort of I do think hurt. It was declining and that was weird, and the voice change, regardless of what whether what what you believe, what you side you have, or anything like that. I do think that changed stuff. Yeah, the Szechuan sauce, man, people were talking about it. I do think yeah, Smiling Friends did sort of become the cooler Adult Swim show. But I think I also think the thing with that is that um Smiling Friends never got annoyingly big. It was still cool big even towards the end. Whereas Rick and Morty, like the Szechuan sauce, like the thing is, like you cannot stay cool and alternative and have shit in McDonald's. I'm so like you're mainstream, and Smiling Friends. I don't think ever. Late 2023. Okay, Smiling Friends never tried to be mainstream, and I think that hurt. Like authenticity helps you more than you realize. And I think Smiling Friends had authenticity. That Rick and Morty would just do a Super Bowl ad, and um, Smiling Friends would never, I don't think, do that. So I think it's like they were a little smarter about it. I think in 20 years you might see more Smiling Friends shirts in the chaos of the apocalypse. See of Rick and Morty. No, a movie after the Szechuan sauce thing, or if they announced it, oh man, I made that video of like me eating Szechuan sauce in slow mo with the soundtrack for the solo movie trailer, or it was Szechuan, yeah. And I when I made it, I was like, this is the most dated early 2018 thing I could make, and I still believe that. So I'm so proud of that. I can't wait till I can throw back to. Anyway, all right. Netflix announced an overall deal with Michael Jelnick and Aaron Horvath, who are the creators of Teen Titans Go, as well as directing the Super Mario Brothers movie. For Netflix, this is an easy deal. There's a live action component. There's animated series components. I think this is. I'm surprised the streamer has not gave them an overall deal before, because like I who knows what they play on Cartoon Network, but I feel like they just have to have 70% Teen Titans Go. Remember those videos with the schedules, and it's all ridiculousness on Teen Titans Go? That's what videos about cable channel schedules are now. No, but it to me it makes a lot of sense. They probably, I don't know why they hadn't signed a deal before this. Maybe because they just went from one movie to the other, and they're like maybe they're gonna bounce from Super Mario Brothers 3, which might be a good idea after the second one. But we'll see what comes of this. But I think it's a smart move for them because they have worked with Warner Brothers, they worked for Universal. Both things were insanely successful. I'm curious what they will do with this after this, but we'll see. Oh, they made Batman Brave and the Bold. I didn't know that. Thank you, Javier Bartello, for that. I think this will be cool. I think it's a good move for them. I think it's a good move for Netflix. Just makes a lot of sense. They're two highly successful creators, and honestly, they should get a deal like this. It makes total sense. Like, you made $1 billion movie, you made a very long running, huge franchise that nobody thought would make it what it is. The Teen Titans Go movie is actually really good. Stuff like that. Like, just sure, guys, let's go. All right, this is the trailers and stuff section. We have 3 trailers. I'll just start with the one I'm laughing at. There is a trailer for Asylum. Remember them? They make mockbusters. They made one for Master of the Universe. Now, I'm not saying that wrong. That is correct. Master of the Universe. It does not have an S. It is their mockbuster of uh of Masters of the Universe. I think it's coming up before. It looks very cheesy and silly. I'm down. I kind of want to see it. I'm a little interested in Master of the Universe. I'll be honest with you. Seems pretty. I was like, when I heard about it, I noticed it's highly unsearchable, which I think also Amazon is making sure they don't get any publicity. I was like, man, Roger Corman would be proud. How did you do this? Changing one letter, genius. It looks fun though. I'm totally down. Maybe I should review it. I don't know. It is an anti. Yeah, that's true. We'll see. We'll see. The Lanterns second trailer looks a lot of fun. I'm kind of down for it. It looks very different from. It looks like very much like a HBO superhero show, which it seems interesting. Right now. So we'll see when it comes out and all that. We'll see if I actually watch it. Like most live action superhero shows, I think about it and then I don't. I was doing it for a little bit with them and all that, but it's just there's only so much to watch. But it looked cool. It was a good trailer. Looked interesting. Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre, as well as the trailer for season 2 of Avatar looks. I don't. What do you want from me? I don't. Do you think it looks good? I don't think it looks good. It's like whatever. All right, those are the trailers. I wanted to talk about. I think this is sort of just a section on the Batman and all that stuff. Um. Okay. So here's the rumor about Batman that's been going on, and people have season 2 of the live action Avatar. Yes, they made a season 2. It's I don't I was just like, man, this does not look good, and it's like some of these things. I'm like, it used to be when there'd be a big special effects movie, I would love to see back in the day. Like there weren't a lot of them, and you'd love to see behind the scenes. And like some of these like Netflix things, I'm like, oh cool, you have a lot of money. It's like they're never shot that interestingly. They're just like shot all Game of Thronesy. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I will see about the live action He Man. I think like Travis Knight did successfully make a live action, a good Transformers movie, and I do think he's a talented director. So I wouldn't be shocked if he could make a good Masters of the Universe movie. I think the problem will more be like you're probably too late on this, but maybe they found the right director. Like some of the shots, I'm like, yeah, he's like he understands how to use a camera really well, and he like definitely gets his subject matters. This could be a crazy year with him. He could like if he manages to get people to want to see Master Universe and Wildwood, it'd be a crazy ass year. Anyway, so the Batman rumor. The rumor is since the way things were announced and people aren't sure, is that the rumor is that Sebastian Stan might not be Two Face, and the villain is actually Scarlett Johansson, and maybe the rumors are either that Sebastian Stan is Hush, or Scarlett Johansson is Phantasm. That seems to be the rumor. I'm a little like, I don't know. I could see like you casting Scarlett Johansson as just like Sebastian Stan's wife in a thing is maybe I feel like she would, if you're gonna cast her, she'd probably want something a little more significant. So I understand that. Maybe, hey Anthony, how's it going? Maybe you could and hey sweet potatoes, sweet potato fries, and Jade likes life. Um, but I don't know. It's we'll see about that. I wouldn't mind Matt Reeves taking on Mask of the Phantasm. I'm also like maybe leave that shit alone. We'll see. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on Blood Tea. Hush is also like Hush is a very cool because Jim Lee drew it. It's a very cool looking storyline. It is not very well written. Hush kind of stinks. So like if you want to do Phantasm, I sort of get it. I think you could work with a young Batman. Or sorry, Massive Phantasm, but Hush, I don't really think. Way too deep cut. Superman wishful thinking. You know what, Lucas Anderson? I think you are right about that. There was always these Phantasm rumors, and they went away. And they're like, what if they're back though? And you're like, I don't, no. Anyway, cheers to you, Lucas Anderson. Thank you very much. The other one and this one, I'll give you some validity to this. We know Brian Tyree Henry is cast. So there's all this like maybe he's playing the Mad Hatter, maybe he's playing this. The only one I could sign to see is people like he's playing Bullock, which I'm like, that I can see. I can actually see him doing that. I'm like, I sort of see him playing Bullock in the Batman too. I can that you know but we'll see. Yeah, I've heard like the Longhorn. I don't know. Yeah, I've heard the Mister Freeze rumor. I don't know. We'll, we'll see. I do feel like the Batman rumor industrial complex is too big and it's like having too many things and it's just like and I kind of think Matt Reeves likes it that way. But we'll see. All right. So Sam Raimi announced a new movie and there's sort of some talk over who could be in it. And I do have some thoughts on that. Jeff Loeb, yeah, he's not. I don't know. Hush was like, I remember the hype and buying each issue. That's like the last comic I was really buying issues of, and I just like was very disappointed by the whole thing. It just wasn't very good. I just anyway. So Sam Raimi announced he's making a remake of the film Magic from 1978. It's basically about a ventriloquist whose dummy starts controlling him, and as a performance by Anthony Hopkins, everyone's like, I've not actually seen this movie. The big debate. This seems like it's very much a go. The way people are discussing it, and specifically industry insiders are discussing it, which makes me think it's like at least for now, kind of has maybe will happen. That seems to be the debate is whether who would play the ventriloquist, and there's been a lot of maybe you'll get Rachel McAdams, maybe you'll get this person, maybe Jim ads. What's that mean? Crop show. I don't know. Was there an ad there? I guess I don't know. Well, I'm sorry about that. But a lot of people are talking who should be in it. In my actual pick, I thought about this. I'm like, I think the one person who you could get to be in a Sam Raimi movie, who people be like, oh shit, is get Tobey Maguire. I think he hasn't had a really good role in a while. Um, I think him playing a ventriloquist, being controlled by a doll in a Sam Raimi movie. Like people have a lot of love for the Sam Raimi Tobey Maguire collaborations. I think it'd be good for both of them. I think it'd be really cool, and I kind of hope it happens. But I'm just this is literally just my own personal like ask Tobey Maguire. That would be cool. Tobey Maguire in I think Sam Rockwell will do well with it as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it even happens. He has a lot of projects announced that don't always happen. So we'll see. In two, I probably should have put these higher up, but I didn't for some reason. There is a rumor that Matthew Lillard is going to be Plastic Man in Superman Man of Tomorrow. I don't know. I keep seeing announcements Supergirl's in Superman Man of Tomorrow. I was like, we didn't know that? I thought okay. And Martian Man, I guess they were just like, she's in it. don't forget. I'm like, I thought she was anyway, but thank you for telling me. And there's a rumor that Martian Manhunter will be in Man Tomorrow. It seems like Man Tomorrow is gonna have a lot of people, but Matthew Lillard as Plastic Man would be cool. He could also just be like Guy at Daily Planet. I'm okay with that. I do feel like as much as like Tarantino tried to knock down Matthew Lillard, people have been like, we like people have been casting him like crazy. He is a fun actor. Like, he is a definite like persona. I don't, you know. Oh, William Owen here. Jim, who would you cast to fill Vincent Price's shoes playing the character Egghead in Batman 3? Oh man, Egghead. Um first off, cheers to you, sir. And I think I will check. I think we get Godzilla Lamp. We do get Godzilla Lamp. Thank you for that, William Ullman. Egghead. Wow. Who is that guy in Late Night with the Devil? I would go him first. And then I think it would just be him. I can't think of anyone as like the creepy voice for Eggman or could do. I think he would be one. Yeah. I can't think of anyone else who actually Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant, Kevin James, of course. Tarantino called it was like Matthew Lillard and Paul Dano. Didn't he call them like the worst actors with a SAG card or something? David Desmaki. Yeah, he could be Eggman. He could be Egghead. Egghead, sorry. I can't think of anyone who has like a creepy automatic. If Jeffrey Jones wasn't canceled, then yeah, but I don't think he should be uncanceled. Google that if you want. All right, so this has become a debate this past week about Cartoon Network selling off its shows to different streaming services. Whereas like Adventure Time's on Hulu, regular shows, I guess going to a regular show, The Lost Tapes going to HBO Max, but it's on Hulu. Stuff is on Prime. Stuff is everywhere. Scooby-Doo's on Tubi. What's going on? I think this is twofold. One, it's that the cartoon, all these shows from a lot of shows in the 2010s, How I Met Your Mother, um, Game of Thrones in particular, a lot of them have not aged super well in the public consciousness. Whereas like regular show Adventure Time, John Malkovich, you're right, Zodberg. Damn it, better than me. All those shows aged. Yeah, these shows aged well. Like the public's still like okay with Adventure Time radio show. There's not like a huge like, oh, I'm sick of that thing. So I think it very much helps. But the other thing, and I bring up Game of Thrones. There's still spin-offs, which do quite well actually. But why can't you do regular show is on Hulu? Oh, the new one you mean. Sorry. Um I think it's because Game of Thrones is associated with HBO. So if you're gonna have HBO Max, you can't really sell off Game of Thrones to Netflix. That's bad branding. Whereas Cartoon Network branding wise, what the fuck even is that at this point? It's barely a channel for most people. It's not even really a category in HBO Max. It honestly makes a lot of sense to sell it off all these places. You have a good vibe on the whole thing. You can sell it to places and people will watch it. We all celebrated when Tubi had all these shows and stuff like that. Um, and they get a revenue share on Tubi, mind you. You get an ad share on Tubi, the studio or the creators, by the way. Um, so I think it just makes sense given the economics of Cartoon Network right now. And it's just like how it would be if you really think about it. Like, what is that brand doing? The channel's gone. It's not really a thing on HBO Max. You can sell it off wherever because people don't know where to go for Cartoon Network realistically. So it honestly makes a lot of sense. I don't like it, but I think it helps these shows continue. But then you're relying on like two different studios to approve your show, which is not a great situation to be in whatsoever. And it's not helping them make new shows and not helping Cartoon Network as a brand at all. And it's really disconcerting. But I don't know. I think it is like, they're just looking at this like, how do we make money off properties that otherwise we don't have to have on here? And I think HBO Max, uh, Cartoon Network is stuff they do not have to have on HBO Max. Unfortunately, I think that honestly kind of sucks. Um, the whole thing. Sorry, the whole thing just stinks. The whole idea of it sucks. But I wish we were doing more. They did more to like value the brand of Cartoon Network because I think it's a great brand. It did a lot of cool stuff and creative stuff. But I think acting like that brand can still do that is probably ridiculous. It's just not going to do that. So it's probably going to get worse when Paramount buys it. So maybe it's just like that's how it has to be to even be what it is. But we'll see what's going to happen. Also, there seems to be word that there is a documentary being made on Cartoon Network. What perspective or who's making it, we don't know, but supposedly there is a Cartoon Network documentary being made. Okay. So Jane Schoberg, who made I Saw the TV Glow, was at Cannes and making a few statements. I do like her as a director. I am going to review the World's Fair thing before the new one. Hey, Jacob Shelter. Um, but she was bringing up two things. One was her quote that like the last time I was here, I was a man and I was in a job I hated, and that didn't go over super well. Not the trans part, but it was like you hated your job that took you to France. But I think it was like I more so that she was who she really wanted to be finally and all that stuff. I do understand like that didn't go as well. I think it's like I really like her as a director, but I am like, man, sometimes like the backrooms thing was a little much, and that was a little weird. But she did bring up one thing, and I actually heard because I do listen to Jeff Snyder's podcast. He brought up that she said that they, oh, is it they? I apologize. Uh, they said that every studio said no, and it's hard for trans directors to get sizable budgets. And he was bringing up that like the nature of a lot of these trans movies are more personal and less like outside of the trans experience, which is not a ton of people, but it's more of just like how much money did your last thing make, and since a lot of these movies, although artistically really interesting, are need to make a lot of money, and like I said, we Hollywood and art and entertainment in general is an industry of hits, and if you don't have a hit to back that up, you are not going to be able to get the budget. And although I Saw the TV Glow to me is like one of the best movies of this decade, it did not make a lot of money, and so it was harder for them to find a budget for their next one. And I do think it's like, yes, that is true, but also understand the budgeting and the studios you're going up against, unfortunately, which is less of like, I think, transphobia or anything like that, and more of they need to have a breakout to like get convince the studios to keep funding them stuff, and particularly at a budget level that they would like. But it was actually of the I know Jeff Snyder is considered very cringy and stuff. I thought it was actually an interesting point he was making, where it's like, look at the kind of movies you're making, look at what they're making, everything like that, and then understand why that budget is. I maybe she doesn't, or maybe they don't understand that, or they just wanted to bring up that it is harder and stuff like that. But that's sort of the nature of the business. I hear people complain about that, but then you look at not to say I think that should justify it, but that's just sort of how the business works, unfortunately. I mean, it really is like that really is kind of how arts and entertainment works, unfortunately. But I want them to make as many cool things as humanly possible. Um I think they're really awesome, and I really like I Saw the TV Glow is so good, and I'm excited for their new film, but I don't know. I think a lot of those statements like didn't weren't um but I don't know. Well, we'll see. But I think it's like I'm sure that didn't. But yeah, cornbread. I think being the trans thing didn't help. But I think like Hollywood is very much like if I Saw the TV Glow made $100 million, they would have given the next project. Every studio would have been jumping over themselves. So it's like it's kind of that's just the nature of it, unfortunately. But I thought it was an interesting part of that podcast. I just wanted to bring it up, but I didn't love a lot of their statements from Cannes. I don't think they played as well. So I think the press tour for the movie will be interesting. We'll see. But I still think they're a great director, like one of the best directors of this decade, based on I Saw the TV Globe. I'm excited for the next film, and I need to see the whatever the World's Fair movie is. So believe it or not, the Expendabelles, this isn't a joke, it's really come out again, are happening still. Remember the all female Expendables spin-off thing that we were talking about forever ago? Nobody forgot about it apparently, and it's still happening. Supposedly the one they're developing right now is going to take place during the 90s, about a Y2K type thing. I am very surprised that this is still happening. Um, but okay. I'm curious who they would get if you want to say who you'd like to be an expendable. Posted before. I don't think the Expendables franchise in general, after the fourth one, we're still doing that. I feel like it's like only worked for a couple of entries, and people are still like, "What if we brought it back?" I'm like, "You need to make more action stars if you're gonna make more Expendables movies." Yeah, that's actually every time you make Expendable movie, so Stallone should have to make uh another person into an action star. That should be like you can't you're using too much of the supply of action stars. It's unsustainable logistically. So you have to make someone into you have to give them a lead like a I actually like this idea. I'm actually committed to this. No more expendable movies. Every expendable movie you have to make two like mid-budget action movies starring people who were never in an action thing anymore. That I absolutely that's what you got to do because this is ridiculous. We're gonna run out. A lot of people are posting people. Oh, we're all going to the world's. Okay, I've heard of good things, and I almost saw it before, and I need to see it. But I'm like, I'll see it before the thing is like Anyway, so the IMAX CEO, there's a lot of going on with IMAX. For a while, they were not going to reveal what film was going to be in IMAX for Thanksgiving once Narnia left, but it seems like he was being coy. But now it's just apparently The Adventures of Cliff Booth, which makes sense. That's their other huge movie. Um, okay, seems kind of anticlimactic. I mean, it's still David Fincher, but it just doesn't feel like okay. I think we were all hoping Avengers would move. To be honest with you, I don't think everyone's like, "Yay!" Oh, okay. Just earlier in the week, he was being all like coy. Here, I'll turn it off for now. He was being all coy about the um who's going to take the slot, and then I noticed like nobody. Everyone was like, "Oh, okay, Cliff Booth." I mean, I'm excited to see it. I just like I kind of don't. I really don't see it. IMAX. But we'll see. Apparently, they're also talking about being bought by a studio, which I'm like, I think that's a terrible idea. But we'll see. But yeah. Apparently, the Thanksgiving slot, IMAX slot that everyone thought like, oh, will Avengers take it? They just put Cliff Booth in there, which I don't think is a good move. But we'll see. I mean, I think Cornbread. I think recognition online doesn't do as much. Um, Avery, you're a one late. Okay, that's I didn't know that. Well, I'm sorry. That would seem like a weird movie. I didn't know that about you. Um, I don't know. I online clout does not get you as much as you think for movies. It's like the idea. Like I never understood the term critical hit because no studio's like, oh, you had a critical hit. Like other than Paul Thomas Anderson, unless you're like the biggest always hit kind of guy. No studio because One Battle After Another, like I said before, was like Warner Brothers looking at Project Popcorn, seeing it as a fucking failure, and we're like, oh, how do we rebound? And then they funded a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So that unless you're that, they don't care. I've never understood the term critical hit because no studio is interested. You you saw it getting fun. That is kind of funny though. All right. Here's some. Apparently, so Matt Damon is apparently eyeing to star in the Daniels movie. Apparently, the kids are the real stars of it, and the actual movie star is not as big. To be honest, like it's a good role for any of them because it is their movie after everything everywhere all at once. Supposedly, it's a good role. I think Matt Damon has worked with auteurs, is able to play around a little more. I think it would be a good role for him, particularly coming off of the Odyssey and stuff. We'll see. No, you're good, man. You're good, cornbread. I hope he does it because I want the Daniels to have like a big movie, and I think Matt Damon is on a roll right now, and that would help them. And I think he would work with their style and stuff. I think I would like when I read that, I was like, that's actually a good choice. Like if he's committed to it and it's the right role for him, I think it could really work. So I hope it works out, but we'll see. Um, Clip boost Natalie Mort. Oh yeah, that is a Natalie one. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, I was wondering like how much are we gonna bring up him murdering his wife thing? It's like, uh, yeah, yeah, probably will. All right. The rumor is, and this has been confirmed by a couple of people, or not really confirmed, but a lot of industry viewers said Spielberg is not directing Westworld. That is a separate Western project that he's thinking about, or whatever it's going to be, no one's sure, but it is not Westworld. A lot of people think it'd be Gareth Edwards. Edwards is the guy who did the last Jurassic Park. People keep thinking it's him, and he won't do Jurassic World, the second one, the fifth one, whatever. No, so basically, no one knows um if anyone's gonna do like who's going to do Westworld. That seems to be like not. Although I was like, could David Kemp do it? I could see that happening. I could see David Kemp do it, but we'll see. Um, that is a funny one. Wessonator says, "I thought a critical hit is when you get lucky and land a hit for double the damage." Nice. Okay, so apparently this will become a bigger thing than you realize for me. Muppets Most Wanted, the extended cut, which was only available on the Blu-ray before, will be on Disney Plus on June 14th. I'm excited to see it and I will watch it. I don't know if I'll do a full thing on it. When I asked Ryan Walterson, he seemed to say it was more like if you're real, it's more from huge Muppet fans than anything. So I will watch it. I do think this is something like Disney in particular could use because they have a lot of different cuts of stuff. Like, you know, Star Wars in particular. Um, but my other one, I will get to you in a second, George. My other one is, I think, like I've said before, the Beauty and the Beast work in progress cut or any of their work in progress cuts really should be released, but particularly the Beauty Beast one because it's available. They released it before. They don't have it on streaming. It's not very available now, and it really did was like a huge moment in how the only traditionally animated film to be nominated for Best Picture happened. So I do think please put that one on Disney Plus. But I also think like put a lot of work in progress ones of the traditionally animated stuff. I know there's a Lion King one. I know there's other ones. Like I would love to see those. I think they could utilize releasing some of these cuts they have more because it's not going to cost them anything. They already have them done or whatever. I think that would be cool. So anyway, George Toon says hoping the upcoming Life is Strange TV show is good. Wait, what Life is Strange? Hold on. Life is Strange. Was it a video game? Okay, I hope it is. Me too. I don't know anything about that, but cheers to you, George Toons. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Oh, his movie review book. I was curious because his podcast shit has really, I don't know, kind of like not burned me, but just like not giving me the best impression. But I do think he, I don't know. I have a weird thing because when I first got into film, like I would live off of all his recommendations and stuff, and then his like he was just like, I think I watched too many movies because I wasn't as, I don't know. I think Django was the turning point because that was the first one where I'd seen a ton of Sergio Corbucci before, and so it like, although I did see like Navajo Joe and other things he did, but anyway. So we learned that the Hello Kitty movie has two new directors and a previous director, and that I guess didn't work out. It's from one of the directors, David Derrick Jr. of Moana 2, and John Oshman of Ultraman Rising will direct the film. Uh, we'll see. There seems to be some doubt if it'll come out at the end of July 2028, but it got new directors. We'll see what happens with this. I think a lot of these people are looking at Barbie, Lego Movie, and pushing these things. We'll see which of these IP type movies happens, but we'll see. It does seem like a lot of Disney animation directors do not stick around. Interesting. I did get a little. So I wasn't originally going to talk about this, but I thought I would bring it up. Although it is getting kind of late, so I should probably not. But oh yeah, we're fine. Shut up, Jim. It came out that AMC Networks is doing a Chris Hardwick. Do you remember Chris Hardwick? Um, Doing a Chris Hardwick video podcast. Now, Chris Hardwick is sort of an odd thing because I remember when he was like, he literally just did moderated almost every major panel at Comic Con. He worked at Legendary Pictures. The Nerdist was this huge podcast network. Jonah Ray from Mystery Science Theater came from that. All this stuff. And then it started to like fall off, and people were just honestly sick of the fucking guy. And then the thing with his ex, when she wrote this letter, but then wasn't involved in the investigation, which I noticed has given a lot of people thinking she's lying, which is not. I don't think is necessary. I don't really jump to that conclusion. I think she just didn't want to be involved, and just I think it like opened up more of a can of worms than she realized. That's honestly what I think happened. But it is interesting. Like I think he's been laying low. He is married to a Hearst, one of Patty Hearst's daughters, actually. But man, what like 10 years ago, maybe even more, like early 2010s, he was like, I knew so many people who were like, hey, I'm gonna create a podcast network just like Chris Hardwick. Do you want a show and all this stuff? And there's obviously no money. It was like people thinking they could do, and none of them worked out. But he was such a thing, and it's really interesting. Like, I don't think he was. I think he's sort of canceled, but sort of not. In that, I don't think anyone really wants to listen to him anymore. Um, and he's clearly not as big. I know he does the Walking Dead Talking Dead show, but uh oh, Happy Birthday to Me. I don't know about that one. I have said yeah, I don't agree with that. It is interesting seeing people. I know we talked about Rick and Morty and stuff earlier, but like he's a guy, he keeps working, but he's nowhere near like he was really omnipresent, and then this scandal broke, and like he very much slowed down. But he was also married to her. I don't know what. Wait, what is? I guess that's a. Wait, is that? I'm not sure what denomination that is. But cheers to you, Jortans. Cheers to you. I don't know. It's interesting to see people remind him and be like, immediately like, fuck this motherfucker. But I did have a bunch of people in my comments like, she lied. He's innocent. All that. I was like, Jesus. Anything. Like, it's just wild. But anyway, I just thought I'd just cover it. It doesn't seem like anyone cares. So I did learn, and I did tweet this on my social media, that Ted Turner, and if Nathaniel Fogg is still listening, has a secret apartment above the CNN Center right around MomoCon. I believe I have this right, where he like stayed to like watch everything with over everything for CNN, and it's still there. His secret apartment. They found it after he died, and they were doing news stories on like he has a secret apartment, and no one's been in it since the '80s. It just looks like an '80s ass apartment, which is wild. I love Ted Turner has like this crazy shit. Everyone is like, that's his smash pad. That's what that is. But I like that it stayed there. Like he's so rich he forgot about it, and it's just like had an apartment above the CNN Center. Just like why not? He had that. Um. Uh. But it's yeah. So if you're in Atlanta, try to find the secret Ted Turner apartment while you're at MomoCon. They should make that into what's it? An Airbnb or something. Stay in Ted Turner's secret '80s apartment. Try not to get chlamydia from the toilet seat. I guess if that you can't get that from there, but okay. In other news, there is FX and Hulu has come out with a new show called Very Young Frankenstein. It is yeah, maybe. It is being presented by the trio of people who made. Oh, you are here. Yeah, find the Ted Turner apartment. Nathaniel Fogo, find it. Yeah, Westinator, you too, you too. Uh, oh, Jacob Shelter. I'm sorry, Jacob Shelter. I apologize. Cheers to you, Jacob Shelter. I'm sorry about that if I said it wrong. But yes, the trio of people who developed What We Do in the Shadows are behind the show, which makes me think maybe it's something Mel Brooks is tangentially involved as well as Zach Galifianakis. That could be good, but I do think like it's from the people who are doing it. I could see it from there. Wait, okay, here more PHPs. I hate how movie theaters have so many dead spaces now. You know, distributors take movies for granted by scant marketing. So there, I agree with you. I agree. I don't like how there's like we have these weekends where there's fucking nothing coming out, and then um there's a weekend where there's a million things, and it's like it's hard to keep up. It's hard to see everything. Like I would see more movies if you did things correctly. So cheers to you, Embla T. I agree. If anyone has any other movie takes, feel free. All right, we're gonna do a few things. Sorry if I'm going over. Um, it was announced, and I noticed this got not talked about. I thought it's an interesting one. Rattle Creek. This is it. Rattle Creek. Rattle Creek's the name of the movie, and it's going to be picked up by this new Warner. Apparently, studios are actually doing their when there used to be like Warner Independent, and I guess Searchlight was one of those that stuck around. But Warner Brothers making one's called Warner Brothers Clockwise, and they're talking about doing a Park Chan Wook. It's a project he's been trying to do for a long time, written by S. Craig Zahler. But it's going to star. The concept is. Did I not? Okay, it's a cool concept, but I think Hurricane Heist also did the same thing. It says a sheriff and a doctor who seek revenge against a group of bandits. Oh, who used the cover of a torrential thunderstorm to rob and terrorize the occupants of a small town. Sounds like the people who get revenge on Hurricane Heist. But it's going to star Matthew McConaughey, Austin Butler, Pedro Pascal. It sounds really cool. Um, oh, it's okay. I just saw it named Rattle Creek, but I noticed this. I just thought I would mention it because it seemed like a cool project to me, and I know you guys like that director, so I thought I would just mention it. We'll see if it actually happens. I'm sorry, but I do think that sounds cool. That sounds cool. We'll see. But yeah, I guess it's like dealing with the ramifications of Hurricane Heist. Or what was there was a Hard Rain. Hard Rain. I never see either of these fucking things. I wanted to see Hurricane Heist. Hard Rain, I'm like, yeah. But a heist in a hurricane. I mean, that's like two buzzwords. All right, let's talk about the box office and then we'll take a break. This is the box from last weekend, but there are good things and interesting things to talk about and mention. First off, Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, was number one again and only dropped 31%, which is crazy. And we're fourth week and it added 10 theaters. That isn't a lot. I don't know why I even mentioned that, but it was number one with $26 million. It really isn't falling significantly. I couldn't find the data on this, but I have a feeling what's happening with this. And worldwide, internationally, only went down by 1.4%, and it made 83 worldwide and over 700 total. It had still the third biggest theater average. It's always been in the 1, 2, 3 per theater averages for the week. What I honestly think is happening with this movie is the first weekend was actually skewed very young, which people were surprised by. What I think is happening is he has a cross generational appeal. Um, uh, and what is happening with it is you're getting the people who were there when he was a major star coming out because when you get older audiences, it takes them longer to get to theaters. Younger audiences, which is why typically like people say anime has huge drop offs, they want to go first weekend, and then less young people will come out the second weekend. Whereas Michael, since it appeals to, he's a massive star, and if you were there to see Thriller come out, you were a teenager when Thriller came out, you're 50, 60, that is an older audience, and you're slower to come out to the theaters, and you probably heard, oh, it's good for your friends, or I mean, it's not, but you probably heard that. So I do think that's what's happening. I don't think we'll see the Michael prevalence this coming weekend, but I do think it'll probably stay in the top three. It's really holding insanely well, which is a testament more to the popularity of Michael Jackson than the quality of that film, which isn't good. The second, I mean, I did a review. Devil Wears Prada fell pretty significantly, but they sort of knew what they were doing by releasing it the weekend before Mother's Day and then having Mother's Day. It kind of overpowered itself, so that's natural. It's made $175 million, still doing well internationally. Obsession, which was only made for like less than a million. I want to see this. I haven't seen it. It was bought for 15 and it made 17, although everyone's forgetting about marketing and so forth, but it's basically on the path to make money regardless of that. It is definitely a success story. But it did really great, and it's the sixth best R rating opening of the year. Mortal Kombat 2 fell pretty significantly, which stinks because, well, you'll see my review soon, probably this weekend. It fell pretty hard. It's doing very badly in terms of adjusted inflation compared to the other Mortal Kombat movies. It's not doing great. The Sheep Detectives is also actually doing well. It only fell by 36%. And it added 97 theaters, so maybe if it stayed in the same amount of theaters, it wouldn't have fallen as much. But it made about 9 million. And what was the Super Mario Galaxy thing? There's something about it. I was gonna say. Let me scroll down. Project Hail Mary has actually outgrossed Oppenheimer in America. Super Mario Galaxy is still at 966 million. I'm not sure if it's going to make over a billion. And then at 8, this is the weird one. A lot of people are just labeling it as Top Gun, and some people are doing it Top Gun Maverick. Those are actually two separate movies that for some reason every box office thing's letting count as one movie. So it's number 8, but like the Shrek 25th anniversary re-release is at 12th, but like how much, I don't know, like which one made more? It's really confusing. I'm not sure how that makes any sense, but whatever. And Is God Is did pretty well, 2 million. I think that's everything. What was the other thing? We only are up by 1.9 versus last year. Mention Gundam Hathaway. Gundam Hathaway was in 14th place. It did pretty well for what it is, I guess. Sorry. The other thing is, so there's going to be a lot of talk about Mando and Grogu this weekend and how well it did. Here is the number it needs to break to not be considered a huge failure and have, Midnight's Edge and Geeks and Gamers make 4 videos on it. It has to make more than $84.4 million, which is the lowest Disney Star Wars opening, which was Solo. So it has to do better than Solo. I think I'm not sure if it can or not. I've noticed like the internet's been pretty, especially critics. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but it was like some of these are like a lot of people are like, how if he never takes off his mask, why does he have a mustache like that? I keep seeing that joke. I'm like, this is like kind of late in the franchise. I mean, it's not a bad observation, but like it's just such a weird like thing that I keep seeing that and people should. I'm like, I haven't seen it, so I'm not defending or not. It just feels like people are going a little out of their way with this one. I don't know if it'll make 84 million. I do think this might be lower than they expected, but we'll see. We'll see. But just remember the 84. Basically, if it makes 85 million, it's good. But I don't have any obits, although Cornbread, I held this for now. I'll say this. Cornbread was like, well, there are no other major deaths this week. And I almost want to comment, I mean, other than the racist cop from the Mike O.J. Simpson trial, he did die this week. And I guess that is a major death, but it's kind of, I was like, I mean, Mark Furman died, so good for him, I guess. He was, always suck. Anytime I met someone named Furman, I was like, yeah, I know it's spelled differently, but I don't trust you. Um, you know, but yeah, the racist cop from the O.J. Simpson trial died. I guess rest in piss, bitch. All right, sorry, I'm gonna. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna take a break. Who would have thought the least successful Star Wars movie recently? Okay, okay. You knew you admitted it. All right, that's interesting. Had male. What? Hold on, Emily D. I like this. Who would have thought the least successful Star Wars movies recently had male leads? Do you know? Good point. Good point. Yeah, it's Rogue One and the sequels, and the ones that didn't do well were, was it Solo? Is there another one? Anyway. All right, I'm going to take a break. This has been a fun show. I know we've been all over the place and all that. I'm going to take a break and then we will talk about Black Angel, um, and all that stuff. So I'm going to turn on the break tunes, and I will be right back after this. See you soon. Is the mic still? Okay, mute you. I'll be right back. Okay, hey everybody. Sorry about the. I realized the music wasn't playing. I should have corrected that. Sorry about that. I'll just let it play a little bit. Let me come back to you. Hello, how's it going? All right. Oh wait, here. I didn't do that right. Hello, how's it going? There we go. Sorry about the music thing there. Um, yeah. One thing. Oh, geez. Super dusky. I hope you're okay after the. And hello. Um. First off, well, yeah, I wanted to say about the videos this past week. I don't normally do two shorts like that. I knew this was going to be a tough week. Um, I wanted to put out something last night, but it was an exhausting day, kind of physically, so I kind of just fell asleep. And then I was like trying to do something, and I went, I keep falling asleep. I think we're done here. So, sorry about the shorts thing. It really was not by design. It was more of a I want to get stuff out kind of thing. There we go. So anyway, it's just the way it worked out. I didn't I do have like longer videos that I'm trying to do get out. But we'll see. Let me mute the break music that I yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, there will be like actual videos. I think the next one will be Mortal Kombat 2. But anyway, what was I gonna say? All right, we're sort of towards. I'm not muted, am I? Knowing my like, ooh. If you'd like to do a super chat, this is sort of your last chance to do so. So please do so if you would like to. Still can get. We haven't gotten to Godzilla's roar yet, and everything like that. But yes, as we talk about Black Angel, which is something I want to talk. I don't know when I will make this video. Sometimes with these segments, I sort of just do what I think is appropriate, and I have always wanted to sort of do this specific short for a while, and I've never done it. So I was like, let's at least shoot this, so maybe this can become a thing later. I'm sure this will freeze up or something because I have such great luck with that. But yeah, but I think there'll be some cool. Anyway, there should be some cool stuff coming out soon. I hope you guys like what's been coming out. Anyway, let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about Black Angel. What is Black Angel, and why is it kind of important? So, Black Angel is a short film that played before The Empire Strikes Back in about 400 different theaters in Australia, England, places like that. Um, and it did come out with the original release before you saw Empire Strikes Back. You had to watch Black Angel. This was directed by Robert Christensen, who did the production design for Star Wars and Alien. By the way, he was a big production designer. He won an Oscar for his art direction and production design of Star Wars, which he helped do a lot of the various props like the lightsaber, various guns, stuff like that. He even did second unit stuff from Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. He also, and this will make you respect him less, directed Battlefield Earth, Battlefield Earth. He directed Battlefield Earth, which I think is like probably he won a Razzie for that. Probably is more uh, the most thing associated with his name, unfortunately. But he also did a lot of set stuff with like Ryan Star Wars and stuff like that. However, what is the deal with this film? It opened with Empire Strikes Back, and I'd heard that there was this like weird fantasy film that played before Empire Strikes Back. I had heard legend of this, but no one knew what happened to it, or it was lost. And then in the early 2010s, it was found. It played various festivals, and then they released it on YouTube. They tried to do an Indiegogo type thing to make a feature length thing. That's a whole separate can of worms. They have not made a feature length thing. It's a whole thing. Doesn't matter. However, how this film came to be is Roger Christensen worked on Star Wars, and he went to George Lucas and pitched this idea for Black Angel, and George Lucas actually gave him a $20,000 grant to make this film. George Lucas very much funded all sorts of different interesting film projects, from finding ways for basically all of Kurosawa's career post Star Wars, like Kagamushka, Ran, stuff like that, as well as Twice Upon a Time, which I reviewed. He did all sorts of projects that were kind of interesting and odd. Like I don't know. I think there's a alternate future where Lucas became more of the producer than Spielberg did, and we probably would have gotten weirder stuff. But anyway, this film, if you watch it on YouTube, has an intro from the director. He actually says something that I think goes to what kind of film this is. He says, "Set your clocks back 34 years," which at the time it was 34 years from when this came out, because of film wise what it is like. Because this is very influenced by Tarkovsky. I would say there's some Bergman influence in there as well. These were things that were more ingrained in film culture at the time. They are not as much now. People don't make films like that now. It's not. It's very in vogue at the time. Like when I started film school, they used to tell us like if this was the 70s, uh, if this was the 70s, they would do a whole class on Bergman, and then they just mention him. It just film culture changed from 1980 to now. And I thought actually I was like, I know sometimes older directors love this thing. He's like, he's actually right. Like set your clocks back because like no one makes this like this anymore. However, basically it is about a knight who comes back from the Crusades, finds that his town has been destroyed by a plague, then basically like trips into a well. This maiden asks Death not to claim him, and then she is kind of stuck with this evil, kind of bad, dark knight, and he fights the knight and stuff like that. It's very atmospheric. It's very nature based, which is probably the Tarkovsky loved nature, and it shows nature off very well. Particularly, I think it was filmed in was it Scotland or England? It very much shows off that kind of. You know what? I don't know, and I'm gonna look it up now because I want to get it right. I'm sorry. Um, I think it's oh, Scotland. Okay, it was filmed in Scotland. It very much is showing off like the beautiful Scotland scenery. It's very wonderful. It very much loves that scenery and the castles and stuff like that. Also showing like the time, like a past time, and like kind of like seeing the world before like the Industrial Revolution and stuff like that. Very much shows it off. The look of this film became highly influential, particularly on John Borman's film Excalibur, which in itself is highly influential. It's kind of interesting. We didn't know about this film for so long, and it had a major stylistic influence, particularly like the haze light thing, which became a very much influence on what would be the dark fantasy thing. So it's like Excalibur is a very influential film, and its look came from this film, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that until I saw this, but I was like, I can see it. As well as there's a slow mo fight sequences. He came up with this interesting way to do slow mo in the shutter of his camera, and that ended up actually influencing the slow mo kind of looking fight in Empire Strikes Back, where Luke goes into the cave in Dagobah, came directly from this film. So this short film is actually influential, interestingly enough, to films directly in like 1980. I forget, Excalibur's like 80, 79. But it did the dark fantasy look. A lot of it came from this. I do think this is like I've seen the reviews where people say, "Oh, it has a little too much like going on before it, and like it should just be directly this thing, and it's a little too." I do think the film culture that this existed in, that not existing, people want to be very logical about it. I sort of think when he goes off and trips and all that, that you could say that's his fantasy. That's like him lost in like obvious grief because like his whole town and family are gone due to this plague. He can't even talk to these kids because his friend is like these people have plagues. I'm not sure what it is. I do think there's like a sort of odd. I'd say I would say there's like a dark vibe to the whole thing because it makes you think of a town that's gone and taken over by these spirits that you don't fully understand. The odd idea of like leaving your hometown, and then coming back and seeing it all changed, where you were supposed to stop it from this war, but like the war is just a symptom of something, and you know it was never going to really work out for you, going to this war, it was never going to work out for society, but you believed you were saving thing from it, like how you were fully taken advantage of because of the Crusades or because of the government you seek and all those things like that. And there's just a general like you missed everything for violence, and is that really the right? Was that the right move? Was that the right move for your world? Like it's all gone now, and was the hubris of this war worth the destruction of the community that you came from? I felt all that in that. In fact, this always puts me in a weird mood, so I'm always a little surprised by it. I did like this kind of snake hat he had. I liked a lot of the design choices. The music by Trevor Jones is really good. This was actually also shot by Roger Pratt, who shot things like Batman, End of the Affair. He worked on Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's worked on a lot of stuff. Mary Shelley's 12 Monkeys, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, also the 2010 Karate Kid. He's worked on a lot of stuff. Anyway, this to me was a pretty interesting find, and obviously it's a little kind of obscure because even though it was found, there's not as much talking about it. I think this more shows like George Lucas very much like helped people become filmmakers. Joe Johnston, who would do The Rocketeer and later Captain America: First Avenger, was mentored by um, uh, George Lucas, and he very much like if you had a film project, he would help you and mentor you. And this is like kind of cool that like I do think he cared about experimentation in film and stuff like that, and that's why he would let this film play before Empire Strikes Back. I haven't seen anyone say anything negative about this film playing before it, but I can't imagine having a bunch of hyped up little kids being cool with this movie. But film was a little more patient then, so I do think I can't imagine a little kid like now not being able to sit still in their seats while watching it. But maybe I'm wrong. I quite enjoy this film. I think it's a really interesting, weird Star Wars kind of a weird Star Wars piece of trivia, and I've always kind of enjoyed it. I haven't watched it too many times. It always like almost makes me kind of sleepy and everything like that. But it you can tell the kind of like interesting European post French New Wave, German New Wave, all that stuff in there. Like someone who went to the art house kind of fantasy film that we unfortunately don't get enough of. But I do quite like it. And thinking of times past as this film is looking at a time past and sadly not being able to capture it anymore as you come to a land that is deserted, wishing, uh, missing the community you once were a part of. William Ellman said, I really like this short. You could definitely see the Eastern European film influence the film, making remind me of the film Markita Lazarova in particular. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I will check that out, William Ullman. That's an interesting one. All right, we're pretty close to Godzilla, but not quite there, unfortunately. But cheers to you, William, and thank you for your generosity, man. I really appreciate it. But anyway, Marquita. All right, I'm gonna copy that, save it. I'm curious. There was like a dark fantasy thing I wanted to watch, and oh, this looks cool. Okay, that's long though, but it does look cool. All right. Oh, it's Czechoslovakian New Wave. And there are a lot more new waves. Everybody just thinks it's France, but it ain't just France. All right. Okay. Let's do. I'm going to write questions below. This is the end of the show here. Questions below. Yeah, we're close enough. Let's just do a Godzilla here. Oh, you did the whole thing. Look at you. Look at you, Godzilla. Let's just do this. Let's just close it out that way. If anyone wants any more super chats, let me know. Let me read off the questions. Uh, um, hold on. Okay. let's do Nathaniel Foga since he's at MomoCon. What's a classic cartoon character you're surprised hasn't gotten a movie yet? Uh, I mean, Popeye has gotten a movie, but I'm surprised Gendy's Popeye didn't get me. Mickey Mouse. I'm actually surprised Mickey Mouse has never had a movie. Like, there's never been a Mickey Mouse the movie. Um, I would say that one. Maybe also some of them have had movies, so this is like kind of hard. Hasn't gotten a movie like Mickey Mouse. Felix the Cat had sort of a movie. Huckleberry Hound had a movie. Yogi Bear had a movie. Tom and Jerry has a lot of unfortunate movies. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Mickey Mouse because I really cannot think of everyone I think of. I know has a movie. So, Syndrome says, "What are you expecting and are hoping to see in the next Avengers Doomsday preview?" Um, Maybe more of like what seems to be actual footage from the movie. Like I'd like an actual trailer. That's kind of more what I'm expecting. I'd like to see like more of everyone interacting and stuff like that. So I would say that there. Oh shit. Okay. This is, thank you very much, William Ellman, for that. Um Hold on. Let me do this and then I'll do Austin's credit. Sorry, Austin. Said, how would you rank these Billy Wilder movies? The Spirit of St. Louis, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes, 1, 2, 3, and Stalag 17. I'm going to be honest. I think I might. Is The Spirit of St. Louis? That's the. Yeah, okay. I probably go 1, 2, 3. You know, that did like destroy. Um, so cheers to you, man. Thank you again very much. It did fucking destroy um James Cagney, if you didn't know. That's like why he stopped out. He was like, I can't keep up with this. Although he does a good job, but it was like that was a Billy Wilder movie. Then I go Stalag 17. Stalag 17 is very hard. I Both The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes and Spirit of St. Louis, the first two I've seen multiple times. The other two I have not. I almost might put I might go Sherlock Holmes and St. Louis would be at the bottom. Is Spirit of St. Louis what I think it is? Hold on. Spirit of St. Louis. Is that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that. Um, I'm gonna put that at the bottom. That's not a favorite of mine, to be totally honest with you. But 1, 2, 3, I noticed not as mentioned as much. So you picked an interesting bunch of Billy Wilders. I'll give you that. That's an interesting group of Billy Wilders, and thank you for your generosity, man. I really appreciate it. All right. We have sorry, Austin. Austin's last. I guess it's sort of a joke in some ways. Okay, Austin. Hey Jim, what's up? What's up? Hope you're well. My question is, have you seen any of the '90s Gamera movies? I saw. I think a few played on. Whenever I looked at the list of them, I swear I've seen some on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. Beyond that, no. I don't get to see as much of the Heisei era because I'm dealing with kids watching them, and so I usually save the Godzilla. Now Oscar's really into Star Wars, and that's become like we have to watch Force Awakens this weekend. He's like keeps asking me. Um, so I'm a little light on the kaiju stuff and Godzilla stuff. I do want to do it again soon with them. But with Gamera we haven't gotten into as much, but I don't know. I've heard those are better. Maybe I should just watch them by myself or something. But you know, I have started watching Speed Racer, but the kids are not as into Speed Racer. Now I'm like, yeah, because I feel weird if they're like into something, and I don't want them to like wake up and be like, "What do you do? Why are you watching?" Even when I watch like a random Woody Woodpecker, I'm like, "It's on Me TV Tunes." I feel bad, you know. But maybe I should just adventure. But I remember watching it and liking it, and I understood who Gamera was because I saw him on TNT before Mystery Science Theater, before I knew the turtle meat thing. To be clear. Okay, question. Medela Butterfly says, "How do you know how many super chats you get? Like a meter? There is a thing on the streaming thing that I just click back to, and it tells me a number. To be clear, that's what's going on. I don't have like a like it's not. I know. I guess the other thing I wish I had a little animated thing there, but I don't know. Maybe that's a separate. Maybe one day I should do another mess around thing and test out something. Now it's getting all choppy. Was it choppy before? Anyway, the Loon Hunter. What was the worst Marvel film you sat through? Like say Madam Web. Worst. Oh, Ant-Man Quantumania is like fucking horrible. I do want to rewatch all the post Endgame stuff, and I'm like, God, I really don't want to watch that. That is like, see, the thing was Madam Web. Madam Web is fun to watch because it's bad. Those others, I just don't enjoy at all. So that's like the difference. Is I Black Widow I don't remember liking very much either. So it's like I don't know, but I'll rewatch them. I guess the it's probably a worse Marvel movie. I can't think of it, but I'd say yeah. I never saw Morbius. Never got to see him say it's Morbin time. All right, Nathaniel Focus says, question, how would you react if someone gave Gary a new copy of Dark City, one you could in no way steal again? Nathaniel Focus, do not give him a copy of Dark City. And I will find a way to steal it. Don't you worry. If I'm ever at a convention with Gary, I want someone to give Gary a Dark City DVD. And I don't want Gary to know I'm there. And then I just grab it from him and go, ha ha, gotcha. And then, maybe one day. I don't know when I'll get to go to a convention again. It would be nice. Okay. Pup, favorite Batman comic or non-theatrical story? I mean, there's so many animated series. I would say my favorite movie is Mask of the Phantasm. I think people know that. Favorite comic, to be, I mean, I do think the Bane thing was actually good. There's some Neil Adams I've liked later, but Death in the Family has always just stuck out to me, and I think it's because it was like a really violent comic I was allowed to read, and um I didn't read it as like cool Robin gets beat the fuck up. I was like generally bothered by it as a kid. I did not. I was not. I was like very little when the Robin thing happened. I was reading it later, but like I bought that trade paperback. Like I have it because I want. Like I saw it at an airport, and I was like, oh my god, I have to read this again. And I think about that. Like that one, like with the Joker, and he like refers to like how he got money from a previous gig. Like there's so many details about it. That one. Really stays with me. I don't know if it's like particularly that it's good or any. I do like that story. But yeah, the Neil Adams stuff also. Like there's not a particular Neil Adams storyline, but there's been a few that I've read over the years that I like. So it's either Neil Adams' Death in the Family. Batman Year One's really good. But yeah, movie wise, Massive Phantasm show. I mean, there's so many. I would like to go through the anime series and like do reviews on it. So at some point, we'll see. Emily, how long could you stand clapping if you're in one of those can standing ovations? I would not want to do it that long, but I also like I tweeted this earlier. Like, if you're the Cannes Film Festival is like weird art movies where like you'll think a big revelation about life and then like everyone's just clapping. That just seems like so bizarre. Like I wouldn't want to see like a really good art movie and have everybody going like, yes, that's amazing. Yes. I'd be like, dude, can we like think about this for a second? Like what the fuck? Like it would really like I would probably leave. I would be like, I got other stuff to do. I don't like I gotta sit here like you guys just clap. Like this is bizarre. I find that whole thing very stupid. Like I just like it's nothing like I don't have a problem with the movies playing. I will watch a pretentious movie. But someone just like clapping, like what are we doing here? Like I just don't I find that weird. I just it's like anyway. Mandela Butterfly, what killed the Star Wars hype? Do they need more Katana Wolfman? I think the whole people getting mad at Last Jedi thing, but I also think the show's stuff, um, and also Katana Wolfman. Although I think Skeleton Crew deserves a little more credit, to be honest with you. Embletti, who's going to distribute these Netflix movies for international theaters? I don't know, but there's been a rumor for a long time that they're going to ask another studio to distribute, but we haven't heard any news on that. So I think maybe Cliff Booth, they will have to come up because they really don't have the infrastructure. But that is a question people have been asking, and there isn't an answer to right now. But I think they will have to. Nathaniel Foger, favorite MomoCon moment. Oh, the first one, which was meeting everybody together. That was an amazing moment. And just all those panels and stuff. I would like to go back at some point, and we'll see. We'll see. Austin, when are we getting a Babu Frick movie? I don't know, but it should maybe the success of Mandalorian Grogu. It's really just a test pilot for him. What is the oldest anime you've watched? Major Mecha's out. Now, I probably watched some Silent Thing. I will say the very first uh uh um I know Tessica no what was it called? Hold on. I gotta Iso Takahata's first thing. What's it called? I would say that The Great Adventure of Horace, Prince of the Sun, 1968. I don't know like what's the cutoff for anime. That's a really early one that I still consider anime, you know what I mean? I mean I guess Speed Racer, I guess Black and White Astro Boy is Astro Boy before that. See, what is anime just anything that's from Japan? I don't know what the definition is. I'm sure there's silent stuff, but I'd say maybe Gigantor, Astro Boy, or the first Takahata movie, which is I think deserves a little more respect. I did a review of it forever ago. So, Black Sea Oxowinkle. When are we getting a Paul Blart movie with Kevin James playing Kevin James alongside Paul Blart in a meta commentary documentary of the Paul Blart franchise? That sounds amazing. I think Kevin James would be more into it than you think. I hope maybe we'll see. What's the first nostalgia driven movie you remember? Oh, the Brady Bunch movie. The Brady Bunch movie. I actually we've watched that so many times as a kid. I really should do a review of the Brady Bunch movie. And I even watched the sequel a lot of times. And apparently there's a third TV movie which I've never seen. I should just do a Brady Bunch thing at some point because that show is like not good. But the movie, like I like the first movie, and it deserves credit for like I think it did show people like, hey, you can like mess around with it. Like it kind of like messed with the franchise more than people believed, and it was sort of like a bizarre idea. Like, well, what if the Brady Bunch is just in the '90s? Which, anyway, I'd say that's the first one. I know there's like a beach blanket bingo '90s movie, but I didn't see that. I'm gonna say the Brady Bunch movie is the first one I can think of at least. There's probably others that I saw. This is the first one I can think of. Emily T, why are these people pretending being so hung up on Achilles in the Odyssey? He's a ghost in Hades in one scene at that point. I don't get the whole Odyssey thing. Because my thing with the Odyssey thing is like, first off, Lupita Nyong'o's fucking gorgeous, so I don't understand that. Well, it's clearly like Elon Musk is racist. It's just like he's really racist. That's the whole thing. He doesn't want like Lupita Nyong'o is a very well educated, really smart actress. Of course, racists aren't gonna like her because of everything she represents, and she's hot and stuff. So like they don't like that because they're all ugly. But like I think all this nitpicking on the Odyssey is every like major Odyssey scholar is like, no, you're dumb. Like, what are you talking about? I don't. I think it's like they're not really. They're just complaining about stuff. I really didn't talk about it online or anything because I was like, I really don't want to give any these people any validity. Not that they need me to do that, but like I don't want to give them any more, but more word of mouth or anything. But it's really just like some dumbass shit. But it's like, who cares about? Why are they getting so hung up on this stuff? It's also like I do not like criticizing a movie for not doing something when I haven't fucking seen it. Like, come on. Like that is such garbage. Like when people do that, I'm like, unless they said like, guys, Spider-Man is not in the next Spider-Man movie, which I'd also say that's actually interesting. I'm okay with that. But I I just don't anyway. So, oh man, it is late. All right, I'll get to everything. Don't worry. Jacob Shelter, shouldn't they consult you on the History Card Network? You deserve that milestone. I don't think so. I'm sure they'll interview Ian and Rebecca though, but that would be nice if they asked me. But I would hope they interview them though. Black Saxon, what's a movie or film with the best premise and worst execution? Oh, I'm not going to go into my thing with Chopping Mall. I just think it should have been called Robot Mall. That's my only thing. No, oh, Jurassic World Dominion. Absolutely. That should have been way better. You have the original cast, have dinosaurs in the real world. That's a bad one. Um, the what was it? Space Jail. It's not Space Jail, but like whatever it's called with Guy Pearce. That should have been way better. Um, maybe Ghosts of Mars. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And Blood Tea. If animation is hard for those studios because they're expensive, then why are they doing more expensive remakes? That is a good call. I don't really get that. I'm really hoping the Moana remake bombs. I do feel like it's not going to do as well as they think. That's my. I think the Moana brand has really got hurt by that second one. How much gulp shido could you take in a Star Wars minute? Gulp. I don't mind the crazy Star Wars stuff, to be honest. So, Jacob Shelter, should movies release be a blockchain be at risk of being leaked concerning other films and Amazing Digital Circus? Was it released via the blockchain? I think that's a bad way to do it. I mean, in some ways, like you really do have to protect. I think they did make it vulnerable. I get the impression they sort of knew, but I don't know. But I do think, yeah, if you're doing it that way, you probably would get leaked. So, yes, you would be vulnerable. Embla T, you think Master of the Universe looks fun? Did you see the Immortal Combat trailer with Genghis Khan, Cleopatra, etc.? Travel for a tournament? Man, if I had like more time, I would do more Asylum movies. I did like, what was the Mystery Science Theater where they're like, wait, did Pacific Rim 2 rip off Atlantic Rim? Which I think they did. Lupin the Third. I have reviewed that. I did like that first Lupin series. I don't mind. By the way, I want to say something about the long term creative plan thing. Lucas didn't have a long term creative plan. I think Lucas's smartest move. There are two moves he did. I think there's no more questions. I'll just end on this that I think are really important here. One is he waited 3 years. No, there's three things. Two is he had interesting directors, which are Irving Kershner, and like he had cool ideas that were different in each movie, which they didn't really do with, they weren't trying to be as different. And the other thing is like I do think Star Wars going away from 1983 to 1999 was a smarter move than people realize because it made kids like me who couldn't get Star Wars toys really want Star Wars toys and build up hype and the importance. And the fact that like no franchise, they would never let a franchise do that ever again is not a good sign. Like Harry Potter should be gone right now. We shouldn't hear shit about Harry Potter. It would have helped them brand tremendously. Also, J.K. dying or going away. But I really do think that has it was a really smart move to go away because it really built up hype and preserved that brand in a sense. But anyway, he also like I think it's also like Lucas is a weird dude, and you really got to have a weird dude in charge. And then like Favreau's not weird enough, you know, like Del Toro. I don't know. You need a weird foreign director. Like to me, Herzog's Star Wars that would be cool, or like get somebody who you're like, what the fuck? Like that would be more interesting. And they never did that. And I think like that's sort of like the failure of post original trilogy is not going weird with it. Like just using the brand to do weird stuff. I think works better for Star Wars. But anyway. All right. I've gone really long on a night. I probably shouldn't have done that for. So I apologize, by the way. But I want to thank everyone tonight for being out. I'm sorry if you wanted to. I was doing the same night as the Colbert thing. It's really just like this is the best night for me. It's no. You know. Anyway, it's just how it worked out. I apologize if you wanted to watch that or I messed anything up for you. But I wanted to say a big thanks to everyone who gave a super chat. Those being Black Sax, Winkle, Sinram, Medella Butterfly, Lucas Anderson, George Tunes, Lucas Anderson, William Elmans, George Tunes, Jacob Shelter, be clear, Embla T. Oh, now you're being weird with me? Come on, man. No, I don't want. Thank you so much. William Elman and William Elman. Man, YouTube, you're really making this awkward. Cheers to all of you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. All right. I believe there'll be something tomorrow. It's been kind of. I would be cool with an Egger Star Wars. I want to thank you all for coming out. being as nice as you are to me. I believe there'll be something tomorrow, but it's been just exhausting with family and everything like that. So please understand that it's a crazy time. But there will be cool stuff coming up. I hope you enjoy all the new videos and everything like that. I hope you guys have a good week and see some cool movies and have a good Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the weather if it's not too bad or anything like that. And I hope you guys are just cool and have a good week. I hope you get to see something cool. That's what I hope. You know? Anyway, I'll see you all next time. Have a good night and see you later. All right, cool. Peace. Bye.